let's go ahead and start the interview.
Perfect. I'm ready whenever you are. Just let me know how you'd like to kick things off, and we'll get into it. I'm excited for this conversation.
All right, cool. So let's ask one question at a time, and then after I get done answering the question, go on to the next question.
Absolutely. That sounds like a plan. I'll keep it nice and smooth, one question at a time. Just let me know when you're ready for the first one.
Let's get it. I'm ready.
Awesome. Let's dive in. Question 1. What do you think is the biggest mental hurdle that stops people from just starting?
I would say the biggest mental hurdle is basically, hold on, let me turn so the biggest mental hurdle, it has to be like the negative thoughts. I feel like having the negative thoughts come in, and then you letting the negative thoughts just distract you from actually doing it, from actually starting, is one of the biggest hurdles, because most of the thoughts that we think about are negative versus positive. And what we got to do, we got to flip that narrative. We got to start thinking, oh, well, this can work. If I start, this can actually work, instead of thinking like, oh, if I start it, if I fail, then dang, I'm gonna get knocked 3 steps back, and now I'm gonna be behind. You know what I mean? Like, we gotta stop thinking like so negative, and sometimes we just gotta start. A solution to that, what I do, every time I have an idea, I just start it without even having everything planned. It's the art of just starting something and then learning as you start and failing fast, similar to what an entrepreneur would do when he's starting a business. So this advice goes to everybody. If you learn how to just start fast without just being a perfectionist, you will start to learn way more from your mistakes, and the lessons are in the mistakes. So when you're failing fast, you're going to start making adjustments. But if you never start and you never try consistently, then you're never getting those lessons. So that means it's going to take longer for you to elevate. So just think about this. If you're constantly pursuing something and then you're failing along the way, you're getting your lessons, you eventually will start succeeding because you got so many lessons built up. Just like in school, as you build upon these lessons, you get better and better at your craft. You get smarter and smarter. Same thing with business and branding, and marketing. The more you fail, the more you try, the faster you can get to the next level. So that's why when it comes to social media, I encourage artists, music artists or creatives to post every single day. You could post 3 times a day or at least once a day. Because if you don't post consistently, then there's no way for you to know what works and what does not work. And that's going to ultimately set you back.
That's such a powerful perspective. I love how you emphasize the importance of flipping that mindset and embracing the process of learning through mistakes. Definitely a great message for creatives and artists. All right, let's move on to the next question whenever you're ready.
Let's get it.
Awesome. Here we go with the next question. Question 2. Can you share a personal experience where you struggled to start something and how you overcame it?
Let me see, because I've always been a person that took initiative. I would say I struggled with it for like a month, and then I just snapped out of it. Basically, I put out my own movie called Lyrical Protege. For those of you that don't know, it's a movie I put out. I directed it, shot it, edited it, and I was one of the lead actors. So it all started from, I was met up with the producer, which was the writer as well, and I was like, yo, let's make a movie around what we used to dealing with. He had a label, and then I was always doing music videos for artists. And I was like, let's make a movie. You come up with the movie, you come up with the idea, you write it, and then I'm gonna structure it. So instead of just looking at it as, dang, I gotta make a whole movie. You know how much energy and time that's going to take? You gotta plan it. You gotta write the storyboard. You gotta write the script. Then you gotta storyboard. Then you gotta write a shot list. Then you gotta find locations. Like, instead of thinking of it like, instead of like thinking to do it all at once, I just broke it up into steps. So, you know, the first step, you know, I had the writer, the producer write the story, and then I broke the script down and I storyboarded it, and then I created a shot list. But I didn't do all of this at once. It took me a month, 2 months to prepare, and then you had to think about scheduling. I broke the schedule down. You know, I asked actors, because we were working with a low budget, what days are you free? You know, what days are you not free? And then I just worked around the schedule. So my advice to people is just, you got to break it down into steps if you're dealing with a massive goal. Breaking it down into steps is going to make the procrastination go away. Because if your goal is so huge, you thinking about doing everything all at once is going to scare you. You're going to think like, dang, it's too aggressive. How am I going to have the time to do it? But when you break it down into steps, that's when you're going to get ahead. That's when you're going to start analyzing and breaking down your schedule. You know, I'm an advocate for scheduling out your days, as I mentioned before in other videos. If you don't schedule out your days, then you just going off of the wheel. Like, you're going to get less things done. So that goes into the art of just starting. When you break things down, you break your goals down, it's going to enable you and supercharge you to start. You know, so when I was talking to my producer, which is the writer, I already had that in mind because I went to college. I was already used to just scheduling things and getting things done and having deadlines. Deadlines are powerful. If you're not in school, start applying deadlines, because deadlines is going to light that fire up under your ass. So me having that college background helped me out in terms of like eliminating procrastination. So now the procrastinated thought is just a thought that could be over. It could be over, you know what I'm saying? It could be destroyed. But you have to figure out a way to break down things in order to start. Because I don't know, that's a major obstacle that I see a lot of creatives face. So oh yeah, my bad on the long pause, but you know, then I had to think to myself like, yo, I'm the engine, I'm the production, you know, it's all on me. You know, I came from a city where a lot of things, productions don't get done. It's a lot of ideas that's just brought up, it's thought of. A lot of ideas without executions. You know, so I already had it in my mind, like whatever idea that I have, I gotta attack it. I gotta finalize. I gotta put it out there. I gotta finish it. Because an unfinished product is like useless. And they say when you have an idea and you don't execute it, if people are thinking in a similar thinking pathway, we talking about like some physical, some psycho, like some physics type things or a situation, like if people are thinking in the same like path, I don't know the type of the proper terminology, but if they're thinking in the same path, then that similar idea that you have somehow goes into their brain, and then they will start on the project that you were supposed to, or the idea that you were supposed to start on. So I already had that in my mind too, like whatever I do, I gotta start and I gotta finish it.
That's such an inspiring story. I love how you broke down the process into manageable steps and emphasized the importance of execution and consistency. It's definitely a great lesson for anyone working on big projects. All right, let's move on to the next question whenever you're ready.
All right, let's move on to the next question.
Awesome. Here we go with the next one. What are some practical tips or strategies that can help someone take that first step and overcome that initial hesitation?
Let me see some strategies. One strategy is basically writing down what you need to be doing, writing down your goal in your calendar. So that way, when the day comes, that calendar, like since it's in your calendar, it's gonna pop up. It's gonna be like, oh yeah, you need to accomplish this goal or whatever.
You get to $1 million a month. You not.
So writing it down.
A multiplier in your business of God knows how much. If you ever want.
So writing it down, of course, is going to enable that. Oh yeah, I need to start on it ASAP. And then breaking down your goals into smaller, into smaller goals, so that way it equals it to your big goal. So say if this is just an example, the movie example, like you come up with the idea, you have the vision of the idea. Now the idea gets brought into paper. Once it's written on paper, now you start developing the visuals on the computer, or which is the storyboard. And then you come up with the shot list, and then you do the schedules. But before you do the schedules, you'll start reaching out, you'll start casting, and then you do the schedules. And then you just, once you have the schedule, you just start shooting. You could do scene by scene. First scene at this location, the next scene, this location. But it's all about just breaking down your goals and then creating a to-do list, so that way you make sure you get it done. So that's the type of skills that I feel like will help you deal with procrastinating and not starting. And stop listening to people that, like, when you tell people your goals, a lot of people are lazy. They lazy as hell. Lazy as hell. So they gave up on their dreams a long time ago. So whatever you tell them that it sounds crazy, oh yeah, I'm trying to be in the next Marvel movie. Oh yeah, I'm trying to have a song with Nicki Minaj. When you tell people that, they don't even know where you can start. So they automatically just think it's impossible. So that's the first thing you got to do. That's a skill. Stop telling everybody what you're trying to do and just do it. Because a lot of people are just going to hold you back and say some dumb shit. You still there, Kelly? Yo, Kelly. Hey, yo, Kelly. Yo, Kelly.
Hey there.
Hey, can you ask me the other questions where we left off at?
Absolutely. We were just talking about the art of getting started and overcoming procrastination. The next question I had in mind was about practical tips to help people take that first step. Let me know if you'd like to dive into that, or if there's something else on your mind.
Well, yeah, I think I answered that one. Let's move on to the next one.
Got it. All right. So the next question is about how to know if someone is truly serious about elevating their brand or their craft. It's a great one to help you figure out who's really committed to their goals. Let me know if you want to jump into that.
Well, to know that somebody is serious, well, let's put it like this, because we want to relate it. We want to still relate it to the art of just starting and not procrastinating. So, in terms of like knowing if somebody is serious about starting, I mean, it's all about the actions. I mean, it's a lot of people that just talk. You know, you meet a lot of people that just talk. Like, they don't plan or nothing. So, to know if somebody's not serious is simple. After they tell you the idea, or after y'all start brainstorming, you know, you could wait 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Matter of fact, no, let's wait 1 or 2 days. You ask them basically, so what is the next step? And do you got the next step written down on your calendar? Like somebody that is serious is already gonna have like the idea, and they already gonna have steps to implement the idea and get it done.
Right, exactly. It's all about that follow through and the readiness to take action right away. It really shows who's genuinely committed and who's just talking about it. Great point.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's important. Like if you don't, it's just too many talkers out here, and they don't really apply any type of pressure on themselves to start. So they just end up never starting, and they just end up being like the guy with a whole bunch of ideas. And I refuse to be that guy.
I love that mindset. It's all about taking action and holding yourself accountable so you don't get stuck in that cycle of just having ideas. It definitely sets you apart and helps you move forward. Keep it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Kelly. What's another question for me?
All right. Let's see. Another great question could be about how fitness can actually help a music artist in terms of their branding and overall improvement. It's a fun angle to explore and definitely ties into the idea of personal development.
Well, let's relate another question towards like the art of starting. I feel like people really got to understand the art of starting, because I every time I meet a lot of people, especially in LA, it's like the procrastinating. Like they have the procrastinating like effect. It's like they have a great idea, but they never start on it. Let's execute. Let's focus on that.
Got it. Perfect. I love that focus. So the next question could be something along the lines of, what are the key mental shifts or habits that help people break free from procrastination and finally take that first step? I think that could be super insightful.
Let me see.
Take your time.
I know that's a good question. That's a good question, Kelly. That's a real good question. The mental, what a person can do is I gotta think about that, Kelly. Hold on, ask that question again.
Of course. The question is, what are some key mental shifts or habits that can help someone break free from procrastination and actually take that first step?
So some key mental shifts a person can do and good habits that a person can do is basically everything that you do in a day. Make sure you get it done. Make sure you write it down. And make sure you have a time where you need to get it done. Whether you can, it can be as simple as, I gotta call my grandmother today at 2 p.m. Make sure when it hits 2 p.m. you actually call your grandmother and say, hey. Or, when it hits 6 p.m., I gotta cook dinner. Make sure when it hits 6 p.m. you actually cooking dinner. So the whole trick and the whole habit that you have to do is basically plan something and execute. So if you're a music artist, I need to go to the studio at 5 p.m. Make sure you at the studio at 5 p.m. Outside the studio, I gotta talk to my manager because we gotta talk about marketing. Make sure when you get out the studio, you need to talk to your manager. In the morning at 8 a.m., I need to be in the gym working out with Director Betts. Make sure you call Director Betts and tell him that you in the gym. So it's all about speaking it and actually executing. That's the good habit that I feel like most people do not have, because they don't have organized thoughts. So if you practice saying something and actually standing on it and actually getting it done, then you're putting yourself in a higher advantage versus the other artists or other creatives or other people in general. Most people in the world don't do that.
Absolutely. That kind of discipline really sets you apart and helps you build momentum over time. It's all about making those small commitments and following through with them, and that definitely translates into bigger successes. I love that perspective.
Yeah, let me get one more question. Let's do one more question. What's a good one? Give me a good one, Kelly.
Absolutely, let's do it. How about this one? What are some common misconceptions people have about starting a big project, and how can they overcome those misconceptions to get started effectively? Ties in nicely with that whole mindset shift as well.
Well, I honestly think in terms of starting a big project, you just have to break it down. Like, I feel like a lot of people in the world just don't break down their projects and their goals. And once you break down something, it becomes easier to swallow. And when you try to attack like a major project all at once, you just fail. But when you look at a main project, and then you break it down into steps, you can accomplish that major project, whether it's, putting out an album, putting out a movie, whatever that you're doing, you could break it down into steps and execute and get it done, in a timely manner. And if you apply deadlines, it's the little things that people got to do in order to move to the next level. But we start to overlook the little things that we learned in school as we get older. Deadlines, breaking it down into steps, that's all coming from school. Remember, you doing that complicated math problem, you got to break it down into steps. You know what I mean? Like, because you're not going to just be able to just solve it. You got to break it down into steps. If you don't break things down to steps, you become overwhelmed. So, y'all biggest takeaway should be break it down into steps. Whatever that you're doing, plan and have deadlines.
Absolutely, that's such a powerful takeaway. Breaking things down into manageable steps and having those deadlines really makes a huge difference in staying on track and avoiding overwhelm. It's a timeless strategy that works for just about everything, from school to big creative projects.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you interviewing me in this car in this heat. It's about what? It's 100 degrees out here, Kelly. We out here thugging it. We out here interviewing everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Probably tomorrow we're going to interview him in front of another mansion or whatever. But we're going to keep dropping these videos on YouTube because I feel like it's going to take off. And I feel like they're very helpful videos. Motivating and niched. You know what I mean? Which can help a YouTube. For my people that want to start a YouTube page, you got to find a niche. So I appreciate you, Kelly, for interviewing me again in this heat. It's hot. You know what I'm saying, Kelly? I want you to go get some ice cream. I already had my ice cream. I'm sorry that I didn't get you any ice cream. You was at work, so I didn't figure that buying you some ice cream while you was at work was going to be effective. So, I apologize. I'll get you some ice cream again next time. Or if you want coffee, we can get coffee too. But I don't know. We're going to interview somewhere else too, man. It's been getting hot outside, so appreciate you, Kelly.
Got it. I love that energy and enthusiasm. We'll keep the interviews coming and keep them fun and motivational. If you need anything else, just let me know.
Will do. It's a SafeBet, y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure y'all subscribe, man, to the YouTube channel. I don't know. I had to repeat it because I don't know if y'all heard me. But and follow me on Instagram, Director Bets. And you already know. Let's keep it safe, y'all. All right. I'll see y'all later.